Are we looking at another major outbreak across the U.S.? There's been a spike. Now, the question is, why is this spike happening? What can we do about it? And should normal Americans be worried about it? Let's jump into that today because it is a bigger problem than we actually realize. And it's not about a psyop, but it's about making sure that you're prepared and your family's prepared. Let's jump into it. Today's video starts right now.
Days without water along the sun-soaked road.
Hey guys, welcome to the Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. I'm trying to keep my bib up a little bit so you can see my face. I get under the porch because this crazy daylight savings time, it stresses me out. Anyways, if you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up if you like this content. Also, comment below, tell us what you think, your thoughts. Remember, when we all input our information together, we build a community of wisdom and common sense as we try to navigate this crazy world that we live in. And this brings me to this story, the dangers of a new outbreak. Something that we thought was eradicated is now showing back up. Now, why is it showing back up? And what is it? Zero Hedge has this article. Major measles outbreak has been reported all across the U.S. Now, listen to this. It is reported in migrant shelters, and it is becoming an infectious disease breeding ground in these shelters. Now, we talked about this the other day, the dangers of these shelters, because what you're doing is you're taking a wide array of people that's not had any immunizations or any build-up of safety and protocols like a typical American child or family is. You're bringing them from all over the world. So say, for instance, they've built immunity to certain things in certain areas, but then in other areas they haven't, and you're putting them under one building, one roof, close proximity to everyone else. That is going to be a breeding ground for a lot of outbreaks. Now we're seeing measles, something that we haven't actually seen in a long time here in America in this kind of way of a major outbreak. Daily Mail reports that the U.S. is on the verge of a major measles outbreak, with cases in the first 2 months of the year nearly eclipsing those of all previous years. So just in January and February, we're having more cases treated or more cases known or more of a prevalence of this coming and hitting these migrant shelters than we saw in the previous years combined. It says the radical progressiveness of the Biden administration bears the responsibility of this by putting so many people that is either unvaccinated, untreated, uncared for into one place living together, piling them on each other, and now we're making people sick. You know, it's amazing. Now think about this. I don't like feedlots. I don't like chicken farms. I don't like that because it's not natural for the animals to live in containment to a point of that close proximity. Now, here we are doing the same thing with people. I mean, we literally are putting people on top of people in multi-purpose facilities, lined up right next to each other, all and really for the fact of selling out votes, because truly they need to be going back to their locations. You can't tell me a building with thousands of people in it is actually safer than them living in their country of origin. There's no way. What I'm saying is, why don't we learn how to help people with their own faculties in those countries, and let's try to help the countries get to a better place. For instance, Haiti, it's a dumpster fire. In most third world countries that are dealing with corruption is a dumpster fire. Well, bringing that all here, don't you think that we're building a bigger dumpster fire? Not just with the people, not just the fact that our welfare state is going to have to take care of them, but now we're seeing major sickness outbreaks across the United States. Are we wanting that? Is it because we want to make our kids sick? As doctors warn, many young physicians have never seen a patient that is infected with this virus. Hundreds of people are already feared to be infected in California and Arizona after cases were confirmed in multiple states with multiple people who visited local hospitals. So now, because they're sick, they don't know how to treat it, they don't know how to take care of their own self, so they're coming to the hospitals out of the migrant facilities, now going to the local hospitals where your families are. Local doctors, and especially younger doctors who didn't see measles over the last years, now they're having to figure out what to do with this virus. Is this virus going to mutate? Is it going to be a bigger outbreak? Because we truly don't know how to treat it because we've not seen it in the U.S. really for a number of years in a situation where it's tons of cases and tons of outbreaks. Is this going to be, systemic? Is this going to be epidemic? Is this going to be a pandemic? We don't know. But what I'm saying is the more people we bring into the country, it's going to be worse and make it worse because we're not doing anything. We're not checking these individuals like we probably should. We're just putting them in these places, and we're causing sickness all over America, all for the Biden administration and the Democrats to change elections. That's really what this comes down to. There was a report that said that CDC is now arriving in Chicago today to help with the first cases of the measles that they have seen since 2019. They've seen 5 just in one migrant shelter when they have not seen one since 2019. So they're saying the more that this virus spreads, the more we've got to try to contain it. There's a lot of problems right there. Did you hear that? Are they building a containment to quarantine? We've heard all this before, but now we're seeing something that actually caused problems years and years and years prior. Something that we thought was eradicated other than the occasional virus. Now we're seeing it quadruple in some areas. We're seeing major outbreaks. New data from the CDC shows that 45 cases were recorded in the first 2 months in 17 states, nearly surpassing, listen to this, nearly surpassing 58 cases for the whole year last year in 2023, and it was contained to certain areas. So they're saying this would easily double or triple just in the first few months than what we saw all the previous years. Besides corporate media blaming low vaccination rates, just maybe it may be the fact that these are overcrowded shelters cannot hold the migrants from these third world countries. We need to learn to take them back to their country of origin, or we're just going to make America one big third world country with a lot of disease and sickness. And lastly, the situation with Haiti. It's literally burning down. They have no prime minister. He resigned. Now all of a sudden the guy in charge is a known warlord and really a gangster. Now that country's been in problems and corruption for years and years and years. I mean, we can't fix it. It's not our job to fix it. Here's the problem though. There is literally Biden administration officials stating, be ready in Florida and even across the southern border, because you're going to see a massive influx of people, a soar to the borders, an invasion based on these Haitian people and refugees. Now, this relationship was built back with the Clintons back in 2010 to take in more Haitian refugees. Well, now we're seeing the fact that it's not going to be like that. You're going to see the people influxing in because they're trying to get away from Haiti. Now, are we ready to change the whole population of Florida as well with more migrant invasions that we've seen just on the southern border? This comes from a Biden administration official. It says, we have to warn Florida because it may get swamped with a mass migration from Haiti. Because of all of Haiti's issues that are going on, this could very well be a major warning for Florida. Now, should you be concerned? Yes. If we can't protect one border, how are we going to protect others? So I'm hoping that these state governors, DeSantis has been a phenomenal governor, better than all the other 50 states. So I'm hoping that DeSantis holds his own and says, you know what, we're not going to allow this to happen. We're not going to worry about trying to truck people everywhere because we're not going to allow them in the first place. I'm sorry, that is not cold-hearted. But again, if we see more migrants coming in, first of all, you got to house them. First of all, you got to pay for them to be somewhere. Then you're going to put them on top of each other like a cattle operation, and therefore you're going to see more outbreaks of more sicknesses. Is this really what America was set up to be? Basically a home for third world countries to then build a bigger third world country, a melting pot of people who don't assimilate. That will cause major issues because our kids and grandkids have to be raised into this world and raised into America that's not a free and loving America. It's going to be a migrant third world country where everybody comes and brings their refugees and just drops them off. It will be a dumpster fire full of sickness, and that is not what we want. Do I believe in mass immunization? Heck no. I surely don't. But I go back to saying, why are we even bringing them across our border, especially not checking them and checking them for major diseases coming across to cause more outbreaks for America? Everything that this administration has done has fallen and failed. There's no way. It doesn't matter if you don't like a conservative or Republican. How can you vote for Biden and his administration when we see the fact of wars all around the world, and now we're seeing literally crises here with outbreaks and invasions? There's nothing he's done. It's a failed presidency. And I hope that more people will realize that. I hope more independents will realize that. Take your thoughts off what you think of Orange Man bad and say, you know what? I realize now there's nothing good about this administration that we've had. For the last 3.5 years, we've lived in a major dumpster fire that's actually getting worse, and now we're going to be facing more outbreaks of sickness because we're allowing so many millions of people who are not tested to come across our borders, to come to our waters, and we want to put them in little shelters to basically cause sickness to spread across America. Wow. Remember, this is an election year. Remember, this should be on everybody's mind to say, this is what we're going to be faced with for another 3 to 4 years if we allow this guy to lead us again. That's not counting the wars. That's not counting the spending. We'll talk a little bit tomorrow about the spending, but literally we're spending more. We have literally doubled the deficit just last month than what we brought in. We double spent. So if I got $1 and I spent $2, that's never sustainable. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Thank you guys for watching so very much. I love changing our content up. I hope you enjoy these current videos, because what we're trying to do is we may talk about money, we may talk about budget, we may talk about the world, we may talk about America, we may talk about prepping. Our goal is to keep it relevant for you, because this is the stuff that I deal with daily, and I want to make sure that you're seeing the very wisest way and the most common sense way to approach what we're dealing with. Guys, thank you for watching. God bless. Happy homesteading, y'all.